From responsibility to action, building the broker's protection plan. As we move forward from Section 23, where we established that the designated broker holds full responsibility for trust accounts and overall compliance, we now take the next logical step, how that responsibility is actually managed through specific policies and daily practices. If Section 22 was about control and Section 23 was about accountability, then Section 24 is about execution. This is where brokers turn liability into structured systems that protect the brokerage, the client, and the license. In Arizona, one of the most significant areas of liability remains trust account management. Designated brokers are accountable for ensuring that all client funds are handled properly, without commingling, misuse, or misappropriation. This builds directly on the previous section, reinforcing that responsibility must be supported by strong procedures. Brokers should implement policies that include dual authorization for certain transactions, consistent monthly reconciliations, and restricted access to accounts. Periodic audits, both internal and external, help verify compliance and identify potential issues early, preventing small discrepancies from turning into major violations. Tenant and client compliance is another major area of responsibility. Brokers must ensure adherence to the Arizona Landlord-Tenant Act, fair housing laws, and ADRI regulations. This means that property management is not just operational, it is legal. Policies should include a detailed compliance manual outlining tenant screening procedures, lease enforcement, and anti-discrimination practices. Training agents and staff on these requirements reduces risk and ensures that decisions are made consistently and lawfully. This connects back to earlier sections on communication and services, where proper expectations and processes help prevent disputes. Agent supervision continues to be a central theme in broker liability. As established in Section 23, brokers are legally responsible for the actions of their agents under AAC R428-1103. In this section, we take that concept further by implementing structured supervision systems. This includes reviewing transactions, monitoring trust account activity, holding regular training sessions, and using technology platforms to track compliance. A clear escalation process for addressing agent errors or misconduct is essential, along with mentorship programs for newer agents. Strong supervision is not reactive, it is proactive and ongoing. Errors and omissions, E&O insurance remains a critical layer of protection. Even with well-designed systems, mistakes can occur in property management, leasing, or sales. E&O insurance provides financial protection against claims of negligence or errors that result in client losses. Brokers should maintain comprehensive coverage for both the brokerage and its agents, regularly reviewing policies to ensure all activities, especially property management, are included. As emphasized in the previous section, insurance is not a substitute for compliance but rather a safeguard when issues arise. Property maintenance and repairs introduce another area of liability that extends beyond financial management. Brokers have a duty to ensure that properties are maintained in a safe and habitable condition. Failure to address maintenance issues in a timely manner can lead to tenant claims, legal disputes, or even safety violations. Policies should include clear maintenance protocols, regular property inspections, and systems for tracking repair requests. Documentation of all maintenance activity is essential, as it provides proof of compliance and responsiveness. Documentation and record keeping continue to play a vital role in reducing liability. Arizona law requires brokers to retain records related to property management transactions, communications, and trust account activity for a minimum of 3 years under ARS, paragraph 32-20151.01. Brokers should implement standardized systems for storing both physical and electronic records, along with checklists to ensure completeness. This ties directly back to earlier sections on systems and accountability. Strong documentation supports audits, defends against disputes, and demonstrates compliance. Security deposit management is a particularly sensitive area of property management liability. Brokers must ensure that deposits are properly held in trust accounts, that any deductions are lawful and documented, and that remaining funds are returned within Arizona's required timelines. Mishandling security deposits is one of the most common sources of complaints and legal issues. Policies should clearly define procedures for collection, storage, deductions, and return of deposits, ensuring consistency and compliance across all transactions. Fair housing and anti-discrimination compliance remain critical responsibilities for designated brokers. Brokers must ensure that all agents follow federal and state fair housing laws, as violations can lead to significant legal consequences. Policies should include mandatory training, standardized tenant screening procedures, and regular review of advertising and leasing practices. This reinforces earlier discussions on ethical obligations and communication, ensuring that all clients and tenants are treated fairly and consistently. Cybersecurity and data protection represent a growing area of liability in modern property management. Brokers are responsible for protecting sensitive tenant and owner information, including financial data and personal records. Policies should include secure systems, encryption, password protection, and ongoing staff training on identifying cyber threats such as phishing scams. As discussed in previous sections, technology improves efficiency but must be paired with strong safeguards to reduce risk. Finally, brokers must recognize that policies are not static. Real estate laws and regulations evolve, and failure to adapt can create compliance issues. Regular policy reviews, annual audits, and ongoing training ensure that the brokerage remains aligned with current ADRI guidelines and legal requirements. A proactive approach to compliance allows brokers to stay ahead of changes rather than reacting to problems after they occur. As we tie this section back to the course, the progression becomes clear. Section 22 established control over financial access. Section 23 established responsibility for those funds and operations. Section 24 now brings everything together by showing how brokers implement policies and systems to manage that responsibility effectively. In property management, success is not just about avoiding mistakes, it is about building systems that prevent them from happening in the first place. Online discussion. Why are written policies essential for managing broker liability? Answer: because they create consistent procedures that ensure compliance, reduce risk, and guide decision-making across the brokerage. How does supervision help reduce liability in property management? Answer: it allows brokers to monitor agent activity, identify issues early, and ensure compliance with laws and company policies. Why is documentation critical in property management operations? Answer: because it provides proof of compliance, supports audits, and protects the brokerage in disputes or legal claims.